normal. So we'll live with that. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone who's joining us today. It is a lovely Wednesday afternoon in Zimbabwe. It is getting boiling hot, but we did have some rain yesterday, which was lovely. And if my eyes keep drifting to the bottom of my screen, it's to let people in still. So sorry about that. Yeah, so I would just like to welcome you all and say thank you for joining us today. We are what I am calling a warm-up webinar. And I'll explain to you in a bit why we chose our theme, why we are all here today. And then we do have a little bit of a surprise that I didn't put in the program. And I'll go through that and then introduce our speakers. And yeah, I think besides that, quick bit of housekeeping. If everyone can keep their mics off. If you don't, I'm just going to mute everyone when you're not speaking, just so that it's clearer for the speakers and less distracting. Then microphones off. I would like to hold question and answers till the end, just because our time might be pushed. And so, yeah, then I'll just have to limit the question and answers. But if while we're talking, you have questions, please go ahead and put them in the chat. Because I tend to find, myself included, is I have an amazing question, and then when it comes time to it, I've forgotten it. So add it to the chat and I'll come back to it. And the meeting is being recorded. We had quite a few emails of people coming in from all over the world saying, but I can't make that time zone. Are you going to record it? So it is being recorded and it will be shared. So don't worry about that. And I haven't yet spoken to Dr. Ruth and Dr. Dixon, but I'm sure they would be willing to share their slides if that is something people want. Yeah. Okay. So welcome. I'm going to start with why we're here. Once I get my participant list out my way. Okay. So some of you may or may not know that there have been two main themes announced for this year's World Mental Health Day, which is officially celebrated on the 10th of October. So today is not World Mental Health Day. This is why it's a warm-up. One of the themes was presented by WHO, and they've actually had a very broad theme this year. I think they do most years, to be honest. But their World Mental Health Day theme is mental health care for all, let's make it a reality. So that's the first. And then the next big one is the mental health in an unequal world. I think this has been going around because it was announced much earlier than WHO. It's been put out by the World Mental Health Foundation. They've been working for quite a while, but this is probably their biggest year that I've seen them put out a global campaign. And it's probably, I think it's taken heed because they put it out so much earlier than WHO, which, I mean, it's very exciting for an organization to be leading that and not sort of be stuck in an umbrella. So what you might be thinking is, why is Friendship Bench now talking empathy, connectedness, and social prescribing? And the reason why we're here talking empathy, connectedness, and social prescribing is because I tend to find that when it comes to global themes, there's just an absolute information overload. And I mean, even when it's World Mental Health Day, sort of like it ends up like Mother's Day or Father's Day, it's a day in a month. And because of social media and everyone wanting to sort of have a word in, it becomes sort of like World Mental Health Month. So it almost, it loses the specialness for me. But yeah, that's why we have decided this year to just do something completely different, which, I mean, we are Friendship Bench, we are a wooden bench under a tree doing talk therapy. So it's a little different. We often say we're reimagining mental health care. And so we're just going to stick with that theme of being special and different today. So this is why we're here with empathy, connectedness, and social prescribing. So we would like to be the grain against global themes. And this rings true for Friendship Bench because empathy and connectedness are two of Friendship Bench's values. They are what we live and work by, but above all, they are abilities everyone can learn. I very recently heard someone, they were talking to me and they said, it's actually their brothers in rehab for substance abuse. And they said, but the counselors have said he doesn't have empathy. He's not, like, he can't connect with empathy. And I think it's such a great comfort to know that we do not have empathy or not have empathy. It's something we can all develop within ourselves. Yeah. And then we wanted to be here today to share something with you that felt tangible and that you can carry away from the screen to make a difference at individual and community level. And it's also something that I was thinking, these big themes can often tend to pull our minds towards being at policy level, and something that it almost feels like for the average person out of reach. I know we were like, it's fantastic that the word is being spread and that we can talk about sort of inequalities in mental health, but there's a level where we want to know that within us we can take a step to make a change, which is what inspires me so much about all these themes we will be talking about today. So before we begin, I'm just going to mute everyone quickly. Okay. Before we begin, and in the spirit of connectedness, there's some special guests I would like to introduce to you all. So we have joining us today 6 of the original Friendship Bench grandmothers. Started in Mbari with Dr. Dixon all the many, many years ago and are still with the Friendship Bench today. So why these grandmothers, I can stop screen sharing now. Why these grandmothers are so important to us is because we tend to, like, Friendship Bench is just getting on with our work, and we are hearing from people all over the world. And, you know, we see the news reports and we're invited to webinars, we're invited to host, we're invited to do conferences and webinars. And there's a level of which we're not connecting that with the grandmothers. So sometimes we'll go and have focus group discussions with them, and they'll be like, we hear all these stories from you, and we implement this program and you come with changes, and where's it all coming from? So we would like to try and get them more involved on this global platform, so that they can see the power they're having in the world. I don't think they really realize the extent of which their story is carrying. It's important for us to allow them to see that. And this is the best way we can allow them to see that. So there are 3 Friendship Bench project coordinators sitting at the house who I would like to call on. And that is Shannon, Tendai, and Mary. If possible, you can start your video. Thank you, Shannon. There we go. Thank you, Tendai. And Mary. So to everyone, please meet 6 of the original Friendship Bench grandmothers. I will ask them to introduce themselves one by one. Hello, give them a wave. Oh, that's so nice. I will start with Shannon. So what we usually do when we arrive and do groups, and what we call Circle Kupatana Tose, is we host group support circles. So in essence, a client will sit with one of these grandmothers and do individual problem solving therapy. Then they will be referred to a group support circle where they will meet others who have gone through the same therapy with the grandmothers and just start building their community where they can feel a sense of belonging, they can connect with others. There's a sense of empathy that they can give each other because they know they are going through the same experience. They are going through the same feelings, the same emotions. And so when we do these group support circles, we always do an introductory round. And So there are 71 participants right now, not including all the grandmothers sharing screens. So I'm not going to go through everyone, but I would like you to all just be introduced to these 6 grandmothers. And I will start with Shannon, who I will quickly, I thought I could unmute. Shannon, you might have to unmute because it just says I have to ask you to unmute.
That's okay, Jean. Thank you.
Pleasure. So Shannon is just going to introduce herself, tell us a bit about who she is at the Friendship Bench, and then she'll introduce the grandmothers, and we thought it would be quite nice if you heard what the grandmothers, what impact they feel like the Friendship Bench has had on their lives. Yeah, over to you, Shannon.
Thank you very much, Jean. Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Great. Thank you very much. My name is Shannon. I work at the Friendship Bench as the director's personal assistant. Here with me today, I've got 2 gogos. I've got Gogo Kusikwenyu and Gogo Gasa. I'm going to translate what I just said to you guys. So, so I would want them to introduce themselves to you guys. Gogo Kusi.
Yeah. Ndinonzi Gogo Kusikwenyu, Juliet Kusikwenyu. Ndinobva kuMbare paPolyclinic paIDP. Ndichishanda nemamwe magogo akaita sesu nevamwe vechidiki vanenge vaine matambudziko avo ekufungisisa. Saka nisi tiripo pakuzotaura navo vachikurukurawo zvinovanetsa. Mukukurukura imomo tinosangana nekuti panozouya shoko rekuti kuderedza dambudziko. Saka ndo zhinji rinotipudziridza kuvanhu tichibatana mucommunity. Tinopinda tichitsvaga vanhu vanenge vakaremerwa nemadambudziko, tichikurukura navo. Zvatinenge takurukura izvozvo tinozoona mumwe uyo mangwana achiti ndakararawo zvakanaka, kureva kuti dambudziko rake riya rinenge rasvikawo pakuderera. Saka isusu tinozotumirawo kunana andishameni vedu ivava vatinavo vakuru vedu ava, zvatinenge tataura nevanhu ivavo. Nedzimwe nguva vanouyawo kuzovaona, nedzimwe nguva vanongoona zvatinenge tanyora. Asi vanhu mukukurukura imomo vari kuzvitambira zvakanyanya zvakakurisa kuvanhu vechidiki, vana vechidiki ndo vari kunyanya kusangana nematambudziko ekufungisisa, nokuti pakufungisisa pane zvakawanda. Vamwe vanoshaya mabasa, vamwe vachishaya mari chekuti angaiwane kupi, vamwe zvinobva mukuitana mhirizhonga mukati medzimba, vamwewo zvinobva mukufirwawo kwavanenge vaitirwa. Saka nisi tiripo pakuzovati uyai mese musagare makaremerwa, tichikurukura nawo. Unozoona munhu akuti mazuva ano ndinenge ndaraiti, ndanani. Handisi hedu chatinovapa vanhu ivavo, asi mukutaura imomo dambudziko iroro munhu anowana rubatsiro rwake. Panze pekuti tatichinzi timupe mari, hatizopa mari. Mukukurukura imomo anowanawo mhinduro dzinomuratidza kuti pane zvimwe zvanga zvichingomunetsa asi zvichigadzirika. Saka ni zvinobva zvangogadzirikawo. Ndakusiyirawo umwe wangu, tine zvakawanda zvatinoita.
Thank you very much, Gogo.
Naita zvenyandi.
So I'm going to translate what she just said. She said that her name is Gogo Joyce Kusikwenyu. She works at Mbare Poly, where she finds a lot of people who have challenges. This may be in terms of challenges, maybe issues of stress, depression, and these people come to her, and then she's able to help them. She offers them talk therapy, and through those talk therapies, they are helped. And these people normally come back to her again and to also continue talking to her. And these talk therapies have also been able to change their lives. and it has been very helpful for her and the community as well in Bar. Thank you very much, Gogo.
Tinotenda.
Next, we have Gogo Gasa. Gogo Gasa, tudze kuti munonzani pareni.
Yeah, welcome. Ndonzi Felicitas Gasa. Ndichibva kuMbare, ndishandira paMatapi Clinic. Ndinokutanga kutanga ngotenda Dr. Dixon Chibanda nekunza chirongwa chakadai. Ndakanzwa kusununguka semunhu ndaive ndakaremerwa zvakanyanya panguva yangu yandakatanga kuita zveFrench bench 2006. Ndiri munhu akanga arasikirwa nemurume 2003 ndichiri mwana mudiki. So zvakatanga kubetsera ini muupenyu hwangu. Ndakatanga kuenda kutraining yeFrench bench. Panototi okay, unokwanisa kutovhurika pfungwa. Ukakwanisa kuziva kuti ndofanira kuita izvi nezvizvi. Ndakazonototi ndakwanisa kubatsira nharaunda. Senharaunda yedu yemuMbare inharaunda yakanyanya kuremerwa zvakanyanya. Kune vana vechidiki vanotora zvinodhaka. Toona vana vechidiki avo vasikana nevakomana. Toona vana mai naana baba mhirizhonga mudzimba. Kuona kuti panguva yatakatanga French bench vanhu vakatanga kupwanyerwa dzimba. Tikaona kuti matambudziko akatanga kuwanda. Asi pandaenda ndane ruzivo ndaingoti huyai kwandiri tikurukure. Tikaona kuti dambudziko rezvechokwadi ngari kutodzikira. Takatoona vanhu vachiwana machanges. Munhu akutowana mufaro. Kati memba make makutowana worugare. Akutokwanisa kutsiura mwana kuti usatore izvi zvinodhaka. Saka zvinhu zvakatibetsera zvakanyanya munharaunda yedu yeMbare. Takaona ukama necommunity yedu. Iyezve munhu achakwanisa kuremerwa. Akangonzwa kuremerwa. Notonzwa even nedho anotonoka. Ini semunhu akabatsirikana ndotokwanisa kumuvhurira dho ndotokurukura nemunhu iyeye. Tinotenda zvikuru.
Maita basa Gogo.
Attend.
So I'm going to translate what she just said. She said her name is Gogo Gasa. She works in Mbare, where there has been a number of challenges of children taking drugs and alcohol, and she has been able to help those people. And also, Friendship Bench came to her at a time when she was in need, when she had just lost her husband, and it really helped her. It opened up her mind, and it was also helpful for her to then help other people surrounding her. And she's very grateful to Dr. Dixon Chibanda for this opportunity and what he has brought to the community of Mbare, and hopes that together we can continue helping people in Mbare. Thank you.
My name is Tendai Verhey. I work with the Friendship Bench as a research assistant. And today with me, I have two lovely grandmothers from Mbare. I have Gogo Mshambi and Gogo Nengo. So I'll ask them to introduce themselves to us. So I'll start with Gogo Mshambi and I'll translate what she'll say. Gogo Mshambi, taure izvinhu kuti munonzani, munokure mangani Friendship Bench yakubatsira sei?
Ini ndinonzi Cecilia Mshambi. Ndinosenzera Friendship Bench yangu ndiri paPolyclinic kuMbare. Ndine makore 66. Uyezve ndinoda kupa kutenda kuna Dr. wedu, kuna Professor wedu waChibanda wakauya nechirongwa ichochi chakatibatsira. Ini ndaive ndiri munhu anonetsekana nekutemwa nemusoro zvakanyanya. Ndisingatozivi kuti ndakatoremerwa. Asi pakauya chirongwa ichochi ndakava kusununguka kubvira zuva iroro. Handina musoro unonditema, handina BP, ndekuti ndakazvipira kuti ndichabatsira vamwe. Saka ndingabatsira vamwe sei ndichitemwa nemusoro apa ndine BP. Saka zvese zvakapera. Mumbare tiri kubatsira vanhu zvakanyanya, kusiri kuziva kwedu asi kudzidziswa kwatakaitwa. Vanhu vari kutitsvaga zvakanyanya. Kune vamwe vanoti vakanetsana mumba anoda kutonoti ndakuzviuraya. Zvese izvozvo takazvipedza, hakusina chataura izvozvo. Uyezve vanhu vari kubatsirikana nebhenji iri zvakanyanya, kufungisisa kwakushoma muMbare. Toda kuzvitenda, toda kuzvikudza maita zvenyu.
Thank you, Gogo Mshambi, Maita Basa Gogo. So I'll translate what she was saying. So she said her name is Cecilia Mshambi. She's 66 years old and she works at Mbare Polyclinic, one of the clinics in Mbare. Friendship Bench has really helped her a lot. She used to have depression and she used to have terrible headaches, but because of Friendship Bench, she's now free from depression and she doesn't have the terrible headaches anymore. Yes. She would also like to thank Professor Chibanda for this Friendship Bench program. It has helped her, and it has even helped her community in reducing suicide as well in her community. So she's so grateful, and she wants to thank Professor Chibanda for all the teachings that they gave her to help people on the Friendship Bench. Thank you. So now we'll move on to Gogo Nengo.
Ini ndinonzi Shelter Nengo. Ndinoshanda kuMbare Hostel Clinic paFriendship Bench. Chekutanga ndoda kutenda hangu Dr. Chibanda nechidzidzo chavakatipa ichi chiri kutibatsira zvakanyanya paupenyu hwedu kuti tikwanise kuziva zvinotinunura kana tapinda mumatambudziko. Ndine makore 72 asi ndiri munhu ari kubatsira vamwe vandinogara navo zvakanyanyisisa vanenge vachiuya nematambudziko. MuMbare ndo mune matambudziko akanyanyisisa nekuda kwokuti munosenzeswa zvinodhaka nevana vechidiki. Zvino vanhu vakuru vari kuuya kwatiri vachititsvaga tichikurukura navo, tinokwanisa kukurukurana navo tichivhurana pfungwa, tichisumudzirana pfungwa kuti munhu akwanise kuzviitira uyezve zvakare nekuzvishandira kuti uwane chinodya mhuri yako uri mumba. Tiri kukwanisa kuvhurana pfungwa kuti munhu akwanise kuziva kuti ndingashandise maoko angu sei kuti ndibatsire mhuri yangu irarame. Zvino chirongwa ichi chakauya naDr. Chibanda tiri kuchitenda chaizvo kana vanhu vatiri kugarisana navo muMbare vari kuchifarira chaizvo nokuti vari kugona kusununguka kana vapindwa nematambudziko akakurisisa. Vari kugona kusununguka pakukurukura kwatinenge taita navo matambudziko iwayo.
Thank you. So this is Gogo Shelter Nengo. She's one of the grandmothers in Mbare as well. She works at Mbare Hostels, one of the local clinics in Mbare. She's so grateful for this Friendship Bench program, and she wants to like to thank Dr. Chibanda for this Friendship Bench program, for it has changed her community. People in her community, especially the youth, they've been using substances or drugs, but because of the Friendship Bench, she has been able to help them through talk therapy by talking to them. So she's really grateful for the Friendship Bench. Thank you, Dr. Ruth.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Dr. Ruth. Hi, Jean. My name is Mary. I'm a research assistant at Friendship Bench. And with me here to my right is Gogo Karuma, and to my left, we have Gogo Wiza. So I'll start with Gogo Karuma. Gogo Karuma, introduce.
Indonzi Trader Karuma, ndinoshanda ndiri muMbare, ndiri nakanzera muMbare. muMbare mune zvinhu zvinoitika zvakawanda. Saka ndinoda kutenda Dr. Chibanda wakauya nechirongwa ichochi checounseling nekuti wakabata vanhu zvakanyanya, nekuti muMbare maifiwa nokumwa mushonga, nokushaya norubatsiro, nokushaya nodzikinura munhu. Saka ini ndiri pano ndine makore ndiri mucounseling ndine makore 14. Ndakatanga basa rangu 2006 ndopatakatanga kuita Friendship Bench. Saka zvirimo tiri kuita basa redu muMbare nechirongwa ichi. Mbare yakava nokudzikinurwa zvakawanda, muno vana vanomwa madrugs, muno zvinoitwa zvinotengeswa zvokuba, munorwiwa, munorowaniwa. Saka chirongwa ichi chakawana vanhu vanokwanisa kubatsira vanhu, nokuti ukabatsira munhu unoona nokutenda kwake. Saka isusu hatina mhirizhonga, tinotendwa, tinototsvagiwa pamusana pechirongwa chakauya naDr. Chibanda. Tinozvitenda, dai zvaramba zvakadaro tichiona anotitsigira kuti chirongwa ichi chigone kuenda mberi, chirege kudzika mazvita henyu.
So Gogo just said her name is Trader Karuma. She's 71 years old, and she has been working with Friendship Bench since 2006 to make it 14 years to date. And she is so grateful to Dr. Chibanda for introducing this program in Mbare. She said that her community is a very big community, which has got a lot of crimes being committed, including drug abuse, substance abuse, and also there's quite a number of violence cases which take place in Mbare. So she's saying, like, through the trainings that were done, then the teachings that she was given, she was able to help quite a number of people. And these people have been grateful for this program, the Friendship Bench, because it has helped reduce some of the things and some of the problems that were taking place in Mbare. So moving on now, we move on to Gogo Wiza. Gogo Wiza, ngatuzoti ndimiani uye friendship bench yakamata chakadini.
Pamusoro ine ndinonzi Gogo Wiza. Ndine makore 86 years. Makore ekushanda pachibanda ndabva 1926. Ndova tichishanda nefriendship bench. Ndinoshandira kuMbare hostel. Inini ndiri mobilizer. Anomobilizer vanhu ndozoisa kuna kansera. Ini ndinogona kufamba ndosvika pane munhu ipapo ndomuti inini ndinonzi mbuya Wiza, ndinosenza nefriendship bench. Bench roushamwari ndorandinosenza nawo. Imimi munonzani vonditaurira. Ndovati ndingaona nguva yekutaura nemi here. Ndogona kutaura naamai ava. Kana ndataura naamai ava kuti hamuna here chiro chinokushungurudza nonzi friendship bench, inotaka chinoshungurudza pamwoyo pemunhu, kana kufirwa, kana kurwara, kana nemurume mumba, kana nei chinenge chingokushungurudzai, ndochandoda. Vakati hongu ndinacho, ndovaisa kuna kansera. Isu friendship kwatina tichiita isu ine tsindidzo zvatinenge tataura apa, asi hatimboda kuzvinzwawo kuti vataure china nengirikiri nakansera. Ndo basa randiri kuita iroro. Ndinotenda chaizvo nadhokota Chibanda zvakanyanya. Tanga tisingazivi chii chinonzi kusimudzira kana kuti community yakutida chaizvo. Inotonditsvaga kana ndakadai ndakachembera kudai. Ndonzwa dzori chigokuva kuti varime here.
She introduced herself and she said she's Gogo Sekesai Wiza. She's 86 years old and she's been working with Friendship Bench since 2006. And she works on the Friendship Bench as the mobilizer who's responsible for sensitizing people about what Friendship Bench is. And then she connects those people or clients to the counselor who will later on have sessions with them. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. And thank you for our surprise. It's so nice to have you all here. And now I'm in the same building as you all. So thank you. And I will quickly hand over to Dr. Ruth, who I think I've gone over time, so she will have to run away at 3 o'clock, but let's not delay. Thank you, Dr. Ruth. Over to you to talk about empathy.
Okay. Hi. Trying to press the right buttons, always the same little moment of chaos. Okay, I'm talking about empathy, and thanks for coming to this webinar and spending the time with us wherever you are. And I know that I'm talking to a group of people who already think about mental health. So this is maybe not something completely new to you, but of course we want to do anything to empower you to walk away and talk to more people about this. So World Mental Health Day is an important day, although I always think, why is it only one day? It should be World Mental Health, universal, years, decades, centuries, whatever. Good. I know Jean always hates when I do this because it's not nicely pixelated anymore. But anyways, I thought it shows quite nicely what empathy can be. And you all have your own ideas about it. It definitely has something to do with feelings. And what it has to do with feelings, like Jean already said, it's an ability to recognize others, their emotional experience of basically anything. And that's something we need to learn. And we are on a spectrum of that. That means some of us are really good at it, and some of us are not and might need some more training. Literally, it comes down to, in a way, being able and also willing to imagine and understand what other people go through. And that's not that easy, of course. You know, it means we have to have an open mind, exactly what we're trying to do in Friendship Bench. When we're able to imagine what others go through and how they experience this, we're also more able to anticipate what will happen, which in the long run will help us to deflect conflict. It requires us to be aware and sensitive. And I'm just picking up that you guys are translating, and I will speak extra slowly so that that works well. There's a concept called theory of mind, and the theory of mind basically speaks about us being able to think about thinking. Now, this is a mouthful, right? So you are able to think about how you think, and you can do that with other people as well. So it's kind of perspective taking, really. And obviously, it's not only thoughts, it's intentions, it's the motivations, the states, be they mental or physical or emotional. And we need this to understand the world. We need it for social interaction. And there's another nice concept that's called emotional egocentricity. And emotional egocentricity would be, I feel, and I'm the only person who feels this, and I have no interest in what other people feel, right? And the concept contagion means that I can, for instance, start feeling something with someone else and then forget that I have my own feelings. So interestingly enough, the very old and the very young would fall more into the emotional egocentricity, whereas sort of the middle range people can divide this better for themselves. And you can understand how that can lead to a lot of misunderstandings. Or we have to help people to understand that some feelings are not theirs. Okay, wait, now we've got this moment of, oh yeah, here we go. So why do we need to understand others? And I'm sure Dixon will speak about this as well. Obviously, we want good social relationship stability, right? We need this, and we want this connection, and we're more likely to help others when we understand them. And obviously, like I said earlier on, we're better able to deal with conflict, whether that's relationship breaks or injuries that are small or very big. We need that. There's a reciprocal effect of being empathetic. So first of all, if you feel you can understand the other people around you, you have a sense of belonging and safety. You can learn from others better, like from their experiences. And empathetic people are seen as more likable. And there's a little caveat here. That means one can be really good at reading someone's emotions and respond to them, but just not have the right heart at their place. So this could be someone who's really, really good at manipulating others. So be aware of this. Just being empathetic is just not enough. And I will get to that just now. So what enables someone to be more empathetic? What makes it easier to practice that? If we have similar experiences, if we're feeling close, be that in proximity or sort of a relationship, a kinship. And unfortunately, that also comes up in what we call social psychology. This could go down to stigma and stereotypes. So if a group of people feels closer, they will be more empathetic to each other within the group and less empathetic towards people that they perceive as being outside of the group. So that's something to be very aware of. Obviously, we need to have the cognitive ability to imagine someone's situation. So we need to learn about our own emotions. We need to find language for it, and we need to learn to mentalize. And mentalizing is also a skill that basically describes the ability to give words to what we emotionally experience and understand why we're doing something. We need to know our triggers. And what comes, and I was just listening to what the Gogos talked about in Mbare and the situation of youth. If people at a young age don't learn that showing their emotions is safe, they will not be able to authentically express their emotions, and then might need other things like substances. Anybody who works in mental health knows about this, to regulate what's going on for them. So we need to be really careful that we enable children to learn expressing their emotions in a safe place and in a safe way. So if you want to be an empathetic person, okay, 101 here to start, you want to be with that person that you talk to. So you literally want to put your phone away. You want to look at the person if that is culturally correct. You want to show genuine interest in the feelings and the story of the other person. How many of us have been in situations where we wanted to talk and we could feel that the other person was wanting to say something or just interrupted and said something? We can display nonverbal language so that could be eye contact if that is culturally appropriate. This could be a specific way of holding the body, turning the body towards the person. We can do active listening, which could be those nonverbal cues like nodding or even repeating something as a verbal thing. And we want to validate the other person's feelings. That is something that I come across all the time, that people come to me and say, but I was always told I should not show my emotions. I had no right to be sad. I should stop being angry. I had no reason to be afraid. And I think we can all relate to that. If someone feels something, that is their reality. It does not make sense for anybody else to tell that person to stop feeling this. They have to learn to stop feeling this, which we call regulating. And and I know we're probably running out of time here, sorry, Jean. What's happening on social media, and I just want to go in there really, really fast, is that of course we can show empathy on social media, or the lack thereof, right? So if you think of effects like cancel culture, which are actually really hectic, especially, I mean, that it falls under social cyberbullying in a way, if people are literally deleted or shamed in some form or whatever, or just being other people saying we're not talking to that one anymore. So, and we all know that in social media, the effect is that we don't stand right in front of someone. So it's much easier to disregard those social cues that you would get from someone, and emotional cues that you would get from someone if that person was sitting in front of you. On the other hand, of course, there's likes and hearts and shares, and I don't know what that can make people feel better. Now, just a little impression on this one. Feelings are normal. I can't stop repeating this. And like I said earlier on, there is never a need to take away someone's feeling. In fact, you cannot take away someone's feeling. The person is responsible for their own feeling. And what we can do while we observe, we can help them to self-regulate. And that could be by you using a slow and calm tone of voice, or a physical contact if that is allowed. And I know we're still talking COVID times, but see what's possible. That's always regulating for people. And then there's another concept that has to come with empathy. Like I said earlier on, an empathetic person is not necessarily a compassionate person in the context of compassion, meaning we want to support and help. So we want to couple empathy with compassion. So go through that door and help, but understand that you have to do something yourself, because you can get happy when you help others. So you can help yourself by doing things that you want to do and doing things that are meaningful and whatever, but you want to really help others and ask them what they need. Forget unsolicited advice, the things that you think you know better or what they should be doing. Again, if I could see you all and I could ask right now, like, so how many times have you experienced that maybe you were down and someone said, why don't you do this? Or you should have done that, or really tomorrow do this. And we all know that this is not what's working, as compared to someone who would sit down with you and said, what do you think you need right now? Imagine that. So self-compassion and emotional regulation go together. So if we are able to be emotionally safe with ourselves and kind, and understand that our feelings are normal and they will come and go, and all our experiences are part of humanity. We're never alone in an experience. We might not all have them at the same time, but once in a lifetime, everybody has experienced everything, I would say. We want to increase our own resilience by really being non-judgmental. And we can are there people amongst us who know this feeling of taking someone's feelings on and really, really, really feel with them and be completely stuck, and even go to extent that you don't want to see these people anymore? Then you have to ask yourself, is this about you? Or is this about the other person? And if your answer to this one is, it's not about me, then go and regulate yourself and then help them again. They don't benefit from you freaking out too. So I wanted to do a little mindfulness exercise, but I think I will just stop here, Jean, because I think, I don't know what the time is, but I will stop here. Thank you, everybody. Look up mindfulness, a great helper for learning emotional regulation. Thank you. And Jean, like I told you, I can't stop sharing like any other thing. That is so funny. Okay, carry on while I try to get out of this presentation.
Thank you so much for that. I think, like everyone, I've taken a lot out of it. And what I am going to do is compile your slides for everyone. And I will add to it some mindfulness activities since we haven't got to them. And thank you very much. Without hesitating, our second session, Dr. Dixon, I can see your picture there, so I hope you are behind it somewhere. I would now like to invite you to join and share on Connected.
Yes, I am. I'm here, Jean. I'll make this very brief so that we can have questions at the end. I'd just like to start off by saying what a pleasant surprise. Ana gogo vekumbare ndiri kukuonai makachena nhasi, hey.
I can hear them clapping.
As manga maudzo kuti munenge muri pakamera. Anyway, just having a little bit of banter there with my grandmothers. So I'll make this very brief, and thank you for allowing me really to share my thoughts as part of the World Mental Health commemoration, as we think of mental health in an unequal world and everything else that goes with it. The world has increasingly really become disconnected and fragmented, and the COVID-19 pandemic has really amplified mental health issues and also made conspicuous global disparities. And I would just like to touch on how, at a very individual level, we can all contribute towards making our communities better, improving mental health of those around us in our communities or in our families. And I'd like to use the entry point, as you rightly put it, Jean, at the beginning. I'd like to use my entry point as the values of Friendship Bench, which are empathy, connectedness, which is anchored in research. Often when we talk about Friendship Bench, we emphasize so much on the research, that we're really proud of the research. Like, this is one of our seminal papers, which shows that the grandmothers actually can make a huge difference in delivering evidence-based therapy for depression on these wooden park benches. But when you ask Gogo Wiza, who you heard speak not so long ago, times that I've spent with grandmothers in Bare, and the grandmothers in Bare are probably the grandmothers that I spend most of my time with, because that's where Friendship Bench started. I have a special relationship with them. One of the things we need to mention to those of you who are not very familiar with Friendship Bench, we have hundreds of grandmothers, and in Bare, we currently have 10. We've lost quite a number of them. But when you ask Gogo Wiza, when you ask her what it is she does on the Friendship Bench, apart from talking to you about the different steps that we go through with each client, she will also touch on some of the more nuanced things that we do on Friendship Bench, which are not in the papers that we publish, like the social prescribing, which is really understanding where people can be referred when they are in need of assistance, not necessarily health-related assistance. Some time back, I was having a chat with Gogo Wiza, and she talked about this lady who came to the bench who had a very high SSQ score, and she listed all these problems. And the problem that she listed on the top of her little list was getting a birth certificate for her son so that the son could go to school. And that was the problem that this woman listed to Gogo Wiza. And so, for those of you who are not from Zimbabwe, you cannot go to school in Zimbabwe or start primary education without a birth certificate. That is a prerequisite. But it's also very difficult to get a birth certificate unless you know where to go. And someone like Gogo Wiza knows where all the resources at community level are. And She would then provide that information. You know, you need to go to the DA's office, you need to go to this office, get this signature, get this letter. And you know, within a very short period of time, this woman had her birth certificate for her son. And closely linked to this social prescribing, which is a very powerful component of what the grandmothers bring to the friendship bench, is also something that we call social capital. You know, social capital is really more about the networks, the relationships that exist in a community that bring together that cohesion that makes a community function. And when you bring all of that together, bring it to the bench, you create this very effective way of reaching out and assisting people. Now, I'm going to make this very short. The other person you saw was grandmother Kusikwenyu, and I have a picture of her. You know, the interesting thing is now I know why, Jean, you didn't respond to my SMS when I asked what exactly is happening.
But you got it anyways.
So grandmother Kusi, again, she's been with Friendship Bench for a long time. You know, these are the pioneers that I, you know, first started this with. When you ask her about Friendship Bench and what happens, she will talk about creating space for people to tell their stories. And this is the key message I would like you to take home with you in terms of what you can do to make a difference in your community. We need to all of us thrive to create space for people within our communities to tell their stories. What are the critical building blocks that enable us to create that space? Dr. Ruth touched on it. Expressed empathy and active listening. What do we mean by expressed empathy? For me personally, expressed empathy is the ability to make people feel respected and understood. What is active listening? Active listening is simply being in the present, being rooted in the now. Now, if you can do those two things, expressed empathy and active listening, you're going to make a huge difference in your communities and with the people that you interact with. Moving on, you know, one of the things which I thought Dr. Ruth was going to mention, but she didn't, but I will, the grandmothers get a lot from this work, you know, and it's only until recently that we sort of looked at it and we managed to see that actually the grandmothers become a lot more resilient by doing this work. You know, not so long ago, we published this paper, which was led by Dr. Ruth, which shows that the grandmothers are actually resilient. So doing this work where they help other people makes them a lot more resilient. They have less rates of common mental disorders and post-traumatic stress disorders in comparison to others in their own communities. So that's a third take-home message. When you reach out to help people, you become a better person yourself. You become more resilient. You know, so really important. And lastly, I just want to touch on anchors. Again, another one of the grandmothers from Verhey here. We should all strive to have anchors. What are anchors? Anchors are the things that we fall back on that enable us to keep going in the face of an adverse event. You know, so how do we become resilient in the face of adversity? Is by defining our anchors. To try to ask yourself, what are my anchors, and define them and hold on to them. I'll stop there because we need to have questions as well. Thanks, Jean.
I can hear them all clapping around me. It's like I'm in grandmother surround sound here. It's amazing. So everybody, we do have 5 minutes left. I did not see any specific questions come up in the chat. So I would just like to open now. Oh, Zandile's put her hand up, but for anyone else, if you want to put your hand up or turn your camera on and just raise your hand, I will see you and you can go ahead and ask a question. Bearing in mind, Dr. Ruth will be leaving us just now. So if you have a question for her, it's got to come right now. Okay, thank you, Zandile. Please go ahead.
I've bumped into Dr. Chibanda before, and I really like his concepts. And I was just thinking, aren't we shutting other people out if we have an age limit? Because though I live in an affluent area and I'm well versed in mental health issues, I still find at our primary health clinic, they still don't have a mental health nurse. And I get people that want to ask me to help, but I don't have the tools. And at the moment, I'm not a counselor or anything. I'm just making noise in mental health, but I don't know how to help. So yeah, how do I partner with you? Because I can see there's need for help.
Dr. Dixon, I think that was directed at you.
Oh, I thought you were going to take that.
Oh, I can.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So Zandile, I did see your message and I know you're 51, but and then I responded, I'm just catching other people up who didn't see the chat. I responded to say from our RCT, the average grandmother was 58. That's not to say that we don't have younger grandmothers and older grandmothers. We have both, and we have as young as youth bench buddies. So we do have the whole age range. We just are currently scaling up at primary healthcare facilities because as COVID came on, this was the most necessary place to sort of upskill people and create that community of grandmothers for people because it's the most accessible. But we will get to opening up for the public. So please don't feel that we are disregarding you in any way. We absolutely think that you are valuable. And just the fact that you continue to make noise makes a big difference. We do have a community platform that's online, so that if you would like to get some resources or learn a bit more about how you can help, whether it's active listening skills, the expressed empathy that we were speaking about, there are guides on our website for that. So I will share that with you and you can go and have a browse through and see what you can gather from that. Yeah, thank you. Innocent, I see a hand up from you. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much. I'm Innocent from Malawi. I'm a mental health nurse by profession. So I can say I'm very much curious to know more on how maybe the Gogos to help people with drug and substance abuse, specifically alcohol, and maybe if someone is identified how that problem, how fair that they help the person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's all.
Thank you. Is there one of the project coordinators sitting with a grandmother who would like to ask them to share? Raise your hand. I think they're just translating.
While you're waiting, Ruth, I was just wondering, just in response to Innocent, Innocent, you would also maybe like to know that there's Friendship Bench in Malawi. And if you are not familiar with Friendship Bench Malawi, it might be good to get in touch with them. But your question will be answered shortly.
Robert here. It was one of the people trained very kindly by your trainers a couple of weeks ago in Lilongwe. And he is the mental health nurse for Generation Malawi.
Oh, Rob, how are you doing? I didn't even know you were on. Okay, great.
One of the project coordinators, are you anyone? I think they're a bit camera shy. Oh no, the 10 eyes going.
Ngomshambi answer so kuti taure kuti tinobatsira sei vanhu vanoshandisa zvinodhaka munharaunda.
Tinogara nawo pasi tichivadzidzisa kuipa kwakaita madrugs waya. Anokupedza pfungwa, anokupedza health yako, anokupedza zvese zvaungada kuita paupenyu. Ucharamba usina chaunomboita. Urwere chaihwo ndiwo unozosara uri mauri. Saka tinoaonesa kuti madrug haana kunaka paupenyu. Siyanai nemadrug, muite upenyu hwakanaka munyika.
Gogo Mshambi, so I'll translate what Gogo said. So Gogo Mshambi was saying that we actually help people who use drugs in the community by offering talk therapy. So we talk to them about using drugs and how it is detrimental to their health and to their well-being. So after the talk therapy, they're able to leave the drugs and move on with their lives. Thank you, Jen.
Thank you both. Stella Kusikwenyu, we know you. Please go ahead. I think,
Hello.
yeah.
Thank you for this opportunity. I just have a few questions that I need to ask. As an educationist myself, I've been in the Ministry of Education for quite a long time and a mental health professional as well. My main concern is that with young children, does Friendship Bench have anything or plans to deal with children? Because they say catch them young. We know mental health is a progressing issue. It starts when sometimes when children are very young, and it progresses as they grow up, and creating a community that is not so free from depression from the beginning. So my question here is, does Friendship Bench has a plan for schools, for example, or children at most, so that maybe if mental health is dealt with from a younger age, then we can have a better future for the children? Do the Gogos do the children, deal with children as well, or are there plans for that? Thank you.
Thank you, Stella, for that brilliant question, and rightly put that we need to get people as young as possible because early intervention provides the greatest chance of treatment, well, in most cases. So Friendship Bench, currently we're going as young as youth. So we work from sort of 13 years old and upwards. And we hope in the long term that we can get younger. There's always sort of plans for baby bench and going younger, but I think we would need to do a bit more research because it would be a different intervention that we would deliver to children as opposed to those that we deliver to adults. For example, like a different level of language use. So that would all need to be considered before we go and start delivering it or share with the grandmothers how they can deliver it. And then the other question, we are in universities at the moment. So that, I mean, you're here in Zimbabwe, so you've seen a lot in the newspapers lately. There's been a lot of people who have taken their lives. And obviously mental health is just very misunderstood here. And I think you had a other part of the question that I've forgotten. Yeah, did I answer it all? There was another little part. Stella, are you still there? Well, Dr. C, do you have anything else you would like to add? Oh, the other bit is that do the grandmothers see children? So the grandmothers see sort of parents of children. It's I suppose because they haven't had the training yet to work with the children, we still provide a service and the problem-solving therapy to parents who probably are the most influential people in a child's life at that point in time. Yeah. I think, so we are 4 minutes past 3. I think I'll take probably 2 more questions and then we will close. So is there anyone else? Are you all good? No one else? Okay, everybody, I would just like to say thank you for joining us. It's been wonderful to see the grandmothers and have you all meet them. I think they're going to go home with a lot of stories and we wish them safe travels home. Thank you, Gogos.
Hi, Jean.
Hello, thank you.
So sorry, I know you'd close the meeting. I just need to find out how best I can be of help. Like, I'm so passionate about mental health and I would also want to be part of the Friendship Bench. I know there's been a hold up because of COVID. People couldn't meet and do trainings and all that. So I just want to know how best I can be part of this amazing group of people helping the community deal with mental health issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Celindiwe. So I did mention a bit earlier, I think someone had a similar question, that we are currently only scaling up at city health clinics, but we do plan to, at some point, engage just public community health workers who want to volunteer their time. But until then, please do, I will share the link, join our Friendship Bench family online. So you would then be a Friendship Bench friend where you can get all access to resources on how to help people, active listening skills, how to be empathetic. I will also share the slides that Dr. Ruth had, so you can hear, learn more of those skills. And I think it's within everyone to help in their community. It doesn't necessarily mean on our level, it's got to be training. I think everyone has something in them that they can share and use their voice to break stigma, because stigma is one of the biggest things that stops people accessing care and going to clinics. So I think as everyone, if you can just talk about mental health and we can try and normalize the conversation, there's a much greater chance that people would sort of find the courage and willingness to reach out and say, I do have a problem. So please don't be thinking, oh my gosh, I haven't been trained, I can't do anything. There's so much you can still do. And I will share that link and you can access these resources. And then, yeah, just look out for our trainings.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, so thank you so much, everyone. If there's any questions that you have that you didn't want to ask here, because I'm over time now, please do feel free to email me and I will share everything that's been mentioned today with you. So yeah, thank you and have a good, well, morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are.